Hey y'all, it's Alden with Feeding Friday Night Lights, and I am here with my third and final awareness video that I plan to make before I introduce you to the family that's going to be the benefactors of your generosity through our Cookies for a Cause fundraiser for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. If you haven't seen the first two videos, I would really encourage you to go back and watch those. The first one explains why I'm making these videos, along with talking about how the picture that you may get in your mind of a cancer patient may not be what all cancer patients look like. The second touches on the fact that once you are diagnosed with cancer, you're never done with cancer. And now I'm here today to talk to you in this video about chemotherapy and side effects. Now, I'm going to make a huge disclaimer right off the bat. I am not a medical professional. I am a very educated mother for a specific protocol, for a specific type of cancer for my specific child. Okay, so I am not coming here claiming to be a doctor at all. Okay, I just fortunately, but unfortunately at the same time, have met lots of other parents that have shared their experiences and their truths with me, along with doing my own research so I can be credible when I talk about this with you. So that's the extent of the medical knowledge that I know. Today, I'm here really to talk to you more about the mental, emotional, reality of having chemotherapy and dealing with the side effects. So with that disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. So chemotherapy is just a broad term. It's like an umbrella term for lots of different medications that are given to try and beat cancer. Some other diseases too, but we are talking about cancer here, right? And unfortunately, well, let's start with fortunately. Fortunately, a lot of these medications work really well against cancer. That's why they are administered to people, but more specifically our children, because this is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So again, we're going to talk about children. The thing about chemotherapy, though, is that it's great at kicking back the bad stuff, but you don't get to choose what the chemotherapy attacks. It attacks the good stuff too. So while it's trying to kill the embodiment of the devil that's inside of your child, it's also killing all the good stuff that they have in there too. So their white blood cells are having a hard time regenerating, so they become neutropenic, which means that they're highly susceptible to bacterial infections, to getting sick, and it's just really hard for them to get over simple things like a common cold. It's very, very dangerous for our kids. So that's one immediate side effect of chemotherapy. However, honestly, that's not the scariest side effect. They're the heartbreaking side effects that are visual and immediate, like your child losing their hair or their beautiful eyelashes. But before your child ever gets a drop of that poison to try and to kill the horrible thing developing inside of them, as their guardian, you have to sign pages and pages and pages of documents saying that you consent to them receiving this. Because not only could it potentially help them, but it could also potentially hurt them. I will never forget that one of the many papers that we signed for consent for Holt said that one of the chemotherapies that he would be administered to try and get rid of his type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma could give him leukemia. And I remember asking, is this right? And the doctor said, yes, it is. Like, just deadpan, that's a fact. He could develop a secondary cancer. And what I have found through talking to other parents is that that is frightfully, terrifyingly true of any type of cancer that you have. That there is a probability and even a percentage of likelihood that you could develop a secondary cancer. I mean, are you kidding me? And that's just one of the many side effects. I mean, of course, developmental growth, stunted growth, that is a major one that most kids do see. Sterilization, I mean, my son is 6 years old right now, so thankfully that's not something that we have to talk about in the immediate, but that's a conversation we'll have to have someday. But honestly, those aren't, there are things even worse that can come from chemotherapy. But what are you going to do? Not sign the papers? Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. We'll just take our chances with the cancer. No. Well, I say it like that because I can't fathom not signing the papers. But everyone is different. And if you wouldn't sign them, then that's your choice. And that's okay. But we did sign them. And we see specialists for things that happened and are continuing to happen, and Holt will have to take ownership of them as a grown-up because of the chemotherapy. But not to diminish Holt's battle or what he will have to face in hopefully the many years that he has left here on this side of heaven. But after meeting some other people, I now realize that in my human mind, when I try and rationalize the severity of side effects, that honestly, the ones that Holter is dealing with and will continue to deal with, that we see now, pales in comparison to some others. Our children are administered the same chemotherapy than a grown adult receives. We know the way that chemotherapy works in bodies because the data that we have, the majority of the data that comes out of these trials is done on our children. Of all the money that gets given to our government for research, only 4% goes to trying to find new ways to beat cancer in our kids. So to say that we have to do better, I think, is a real understatement. Our children deserve better than that. If we say that our kids are our most important treasures that we have, why aren't we giving them more? And I have a lot of people ask me about the suffering portion, and I'm here to tell you that, I still really wrestle with that idea some days. But some things, sometimes I think about the fact that we did sign waivers to give every single extra drop of blood, biopsy tissue, saliva. We were all swabbed, spit in so many cups. All the testing that Holt had done, all the scans, everything that happened, we gave all of it to science in the hopes that it could help another child that comes after him. And some days, that just has to be enough. And I don't really know how to end this video. I don't know how to put a pretty bow on it or anything like that, but I can tell you right now that if you know someone that has been through cancer, that you know how hard it is to wrestle with the side effects of things. And I pray that you don't know anybody, but I pray that this touches you in a way that I can't understand because I look at someone who has the side effects of chemotherapy every day. And so I would ask that in these last few days before you meet this family who will be benefiting from your generosity, I just ask that you would pray with me. Send out positive thoughts or good vibes, whatever feels right to you, that you would join me in anticipation as we get ready to meet this very deserving family that will be benefiting from your generosity. I'll see you in just a couple of days to introduce you to them, and I simply cannot wait. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Hug your kids. See you soon.